If it happens, just do it. Take it on. Not gonna be easy, but just do it. You can.
Santi Fox production. Welcome to Finding America. I'm on a 13,000-mile road trip to meet Finnish Americans and figure out why they want to be here and learn about cultural differences. You'll meet exciting Finns and hear about their journeys in America. Our trip continues. We're in Washington, D.C., just in time for Thanksgiving. We were lucky enough to enjoy a full Thanksgiving dinner with Chef Mikko and his friends in his home. Thanks for that. That was amazing. We had some time to explore Washington, D.C.'s tourist areas as well as the little park that we found randomly.
Happy Thanksgiving.
In this episode, we sit down with Mikko, Chef Mikko to be exact. He's a well-known character in the Finnish community, and I've met him a couple times in LA through the consular events. He's been living in Washington, D.C. for a while, runs a catering company, used to work for the embassies, and, he's a well-known chef now. His shop features my favorite Finnish candies and some other pastries and stuff like that you really have to have if you're a Finn abroad. I'm happy he serves the community, survived COVID as a restaurateur, and, enjoy this episode. Oh, before we get on with the show, it would mean the world to me, and it would help me creating content like this in the future if you could subscribe, smash the like button, and maybe share this with a friend. See you next time. For someone who's never heard of you, how would you introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Mikko Kosonen. I came here in 1996. Just planned to stay 1 year in this city. Various different places, Swedish embassy, Finnish embassy. After when I left Finnish embassy, sort of thought that I might actually offer something for the broader clientele here, the regular people, some Scandinavian food, since we didn't have anything here. So started my little catering business and facing some problem to find a space to do my business. So find this beautiful location here. I purchased the house, the whole building, and now we are basically three different kind of businesses in this same building. So mainly everything is related to the food business, obviously, but three different businesses in the one, I would say. So
you said you came to America in the mid-90s. How did you originally come here and why?
Living in Stockholm, in Sweden. Working in my family restaurant, nice place in Östermalm. Was reading Helsingin Sanomat one of the day and saw that the diplomat in the Swedish embassy was looking a chef. And I was like, might as well to go 1 year. I apply, got the job for 1 year, and then that was the beginning. The current ambassador in the Finnish embassy was looking a chef afterwards. I applied in that one, and I was at the Finnish embassy for 16 years.
Since you've been here for a while now, what are your three biggest pet peeves in America?
Common one, probably the tipping is really difficult to understand still after 25 years. So it's still very strange to understand because at least in our business we pay a pretty nice wage for everybody. So it's like we don't have anybody working for $2 an hour and plus the tips. So our minimum is in DC is a 15-25. This is very unique place it's nothing like the rest of this country basically, because there's lots of Europeans, there's people different around to the world because they're all the embassies, all the World Bank, IMF, other organizations. So it's not your typical American city. That's good. It's bad because it really doesn't give you the real picture of this country if you only live in this place, which I have been done in 25 years. So is that bad thing? Probably in some level it actually is, because you when you go in other places, so it's such a different lifestyle in let's say you go in the Midwest somewhere in the bigger city, or you go to West Coast, or even in New York. So it's not horrible idea, but it's actually maybe nice thing. So let me give you some third one. Traffic in this city. I think after the LA, we might be the second worst traffic in this whole country.
What are some concrete things that makes you want to stay in America?
Well, my spouse, that's obviously one of the biggest reasons. The job was great. I mean, working at the Finnish embassy for the Finnish ambassador for the food business in this city, it's not exactly like the life in LA or New York, which is a little bit more glamour, I guess, but it's a super political city. So there's, if you like politics, so it's actually quite interesting. So it was good, and that kept me going. And then really I started to think like, am I gonna retire from the government job, or do I wanna offer the local people, whoever is a local in this city, something different? And I choose to do that, and can't complain too much.
Besides work, how do you spend your free time?
You mean 24/7? Owning their own business. I like my couch and TV a little bit reading, very little. Then if ever possible, traveling, trying some new items or whatever. So currently we are making the dog biscuits, which seems to be very much booming. We'll see.
How often do you go back to Finland?
I try to go in once a year. I did go in the last summer and loved every second. Did a very long trip to the eastern part of Finland and ate lots of good food. Eastern part plus Tampere. So had some really, really great food and some new ideas and talked with lots of the Finnish business, who is the same kind of business, the cooking business. So.
Where in Finland are you from?
I'm originally from Pyhtää, which is county before Kotka, so by the Baltic Sea.
Are there specific dishes that come from that area?
We eat a lot of Baltic herring, silakka. It's one of the backbone in the food in that area, and a lots of other fish too, because it's in the town by the Kotka is the town by the Baltic Sea. We are not too shy to make our own Karelian pastries.
Do you make Karelian pies here?
We do, yeah.
Do you have egg butter as well?
Of course we do.
Great. I know what I'm having right after we're done.
Oh, yeah? I thought you said you already ate.
I mean, I can always eat.
Okay.
There's no moment in life where I can't eat. So how do you define success?
Right now, I would say, well, you mean beside the thick pocketbook or whatever it's called? Yeah, well, that maybe helps, but the fact we opened this place here in Dupont Circle neighborhood, which I lived all these 25 years, and then I have school next door, and I have a local our neighbors comes, and some in a daily basis, some in once in a week, a couple times a week, and they just come and they said, oh, we're so happy you build up business here because it's different, it's unique, there's something new, you try everything something new, there's always new pastry, and which I don't keep, I just try, and whatever goes, so I keep. That's I think the one of the biggest. And then I got probably because I was in the embassy in a long time, my catering clients are mostly the embassies and the diplomats and different organizations. And they keep coming back after last year. I would say now I feel that there is actually success.
So that's about success, but do you consider yourself lucky?
I have to say yes. I have good people, lots of good people around me. Even the COVID year was pretty horrible. I have to say that in fact this country did lots of good things, and that they gave you lots of aid if you need it. I feel much more lucky to be here in this past year than I would be maybe in Finland.
What are your thoughts on how people see success in Finland compared to success in America?
Am I gonna get lots of horrible emails after this? So. Yeah, I think that might be something in Finland that it has sort of like a little bit mentally they don't do well. Do fine, that's okay. If you do too well, I don't know. I just keep reading the food delivery company selling for the DoorDash and the whole that thing. It's like, okay, well, for me it's like great. The guys did whatever, or ladies, I don't know who started in, they did whatever they did, and then, good for them that they did a big deal with the selling the company. So if that happened in this country, I would say everybody would be sharing. It seems like just normal thing to do. So Why would anybody be sour of somebody's business doing well? It might be a little bit after that COVID year that there might be a little bit jealousy because I tell you that whole year I was just trying to figure out every single day some new things what you can sell, how you're gonna do it, who you're gonna do it. We started to sell like a boxed food with the $6 in one box, and then selling the milk through the window, and counting the eggs and selling the eggs, and the flour and packing it in a per pound, and these kind of things like you have to do in the spring. All this thinking and what you're gonna do, how you're gonna survive, how many do you need to lay somebody off? Do you keep everybody? How are you gonna keep everybody? Are you cutting the hours? How much hours you can cut that it makes sense to keep people?
How do you define failure?
For me, it's like I send some proposal for somebody, and then they come back and says, "Oh, we're just gonna go with some other caterers," and I'm like, at some level, I feel like, what did we fail in? Why would we lose to some contract or something? I don't think. Maybe it's a failure. Believe me, lots of people tells me it's not failure, it's just a business, a normal business in everybody goes through it. Maybe I understand it in wrong.
Let's talk about Finnishness. What makes Finnish people unique, if anything?
The outlook for their life and the world is, for my mind, it's very open. I don't know. I keep hearing there's an open-minded people in Finland, but everybody who I know in Finland is super open-minded, and they all speak English, they all want to learn, they all want to hear your story, they all want to follow up, they all want to talk what I do and how I do. So I think the Finnish people are just interested to the different life and different part of the world.
That being said, what does it mean to be Finnish to you?
Proud. What I did when I grew up in Finland. So there was no free lunch when I grew up. So we got to go to pick up the berries in the summertime. It's the blueberries, lingonberries, you name it. Finland's a great place to live. You have education is great. Healthcare is super great, I think. Peaceful society. But when I grew up, like what I learned, so it's like you got to do things to receive things.
So Finland pops up in popular culture in the weirdest ways. Do you have any moments in media that you've noticed where you found it funny or memorable that Finland was mentioned?
Education has been, especially when I've in my embassy years, so the education always popped up then. It was just always in top notch, which makes me very proud to be Finn.
You know, when you come to America, there's always this, everything starts with your American dream. Do you have an American dream? And if you do, what does it mean to you?
Oh my God, if I never gonna retire, so that would be great. Hopefully that happens sometimes. No, I think I'm living my American dream right now. I would say if I would have a dining room upstairs, I would say I would be pretty close my American dream right now, but thanks for that COVID year, that didn't happen, which kind of sucked. But it will happen in some point, maybe.
What were some things that were hard for you converting into American life when you came here as a young man?
You mean just the basic, like the pounds and the measurements and stuff? Beside that, and trying to figure out the Fahrenheit and stuff.
Do you still do you do that yet? Do you use Fahrenheit?
Celsius. I do Celsius.
My man.
Yeah, I do Celsius. I do the grams.
Hold strong.
I do this grams still, and I have no idea what the yard is. So those are like obvious hard. Yeah. Kind of not so hard if you put your mind in it, but I mean if you grew up with something, so it's kind of makes sense.
How do you measure success within your company?
I think that the fact that I have a pretty good staff who have been staying here during this little rough time also. Everybody stay pretty much, so it's I think that's the one point right there.
And for people who don't know, rye flour is very important for us as Finns. And I guess I've heard people hustling their roots. Could you explain for people who don't know how rye bread is done? And
everybody who does it have a starter. It's come from somewhere. Mine comes from Finland. It's important thing to have, and it's actually easy to also to give it to the other people. Every time when you make to the rye bread, you can just give it a piece of fruit, and you can keep it in the freezer, and you can just wipe it up every time when you need it. You know, it's a process. It takes a couple of days. Start with the dough, make it, and then let it get in the sour, and then bake it in the next day. And it takes it's not fast food. Any messiness? No, none at all.
What are some practical things that I could do as an entrepreneur to be in your situation in the future?
Just work hard, you know. You get the idea, just do it. You will never know if you don't try it. If you try it and then if it doesn't feel right, so then just don't spend too much time in afterwards. I mean, if you think you have a great idea, you start it and you feel after like a year that, oh, no, this is not, so don't stop it, don't continue anymore. But it feels like you're giving something, you're getting something, and you're moving on, and you get the feedback in a different places. So then you know that you are on something. So just keep doing it. You can ask help in in this country and in Finland, or ask some old dudes who have done it before. So, or ladies.
As an entrepreneur, how do you survive the darkest hours?
Maybe take a little break. Tell you, like in my world, you tell your sous chef, okay, or you tell your office people and says, okay. I'm like in the last summer, I kind of felt like after the COVID year, when then finally you can travel back to the Finland, and I was just like, okay, I'm going, take care of the business. You know, there's nothing happens in August. Usually August is a slow month, so just keep in whatever is happening in anyway, so just keep it going on, and I'm just gonna take off, and let's see if Finland wipe me up and tell me to continue what I'm doing, or maybe I got back and they said, hey, no more. Take a little time off, think it through. In the end game, it's not. There's never been that dark bottom that you cannot come back. There's always a bright side somewhere, so you just have to see it.
I will give you 10 words. Just tell me what comes into your mind after each word, and then I'll have an ending question for you, and we're done. First word, blue.
Sky.
White.
Sky.
Sauna.
Suomi.
Sisu.
No tässähän tätä on.
Black.
Friday.
Green.
Finland.
Coca-Cola.
Yuck.
The Matrix.
Pretty good.
Finland.
Love it.
Love.
Love.
What do you have to say to the next generation of entrepreneurs?
If it's happened, it happens. Just do it. Take it on. Not gonna be easy, but just do it. You can.